is Robert Bledsoe. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time today to be with us to celebrate my father. Those that are streaming as well. All right, now, I don't know, just a fun fact about my dad. I don't know if y'all know that he was colorblind, right? But you would never be able to tell by the way you see these pictures, by the way that he's dressed, all right? He was the first man that taught me how to tie a tie. He was the first man to put me in my first suit. He was the first man to show me how it was to have dignity in class. And to piggyback off of what my Uncle Kenny said, there was trial and errors, all right? But the end game of it all was that he got it together. And I'm gonna tell you what, there was some experience that I learned by observing like my Uncle Kenny that no one would ever be able to teach me like he did. The relationships that he had with my kids were unexplainable, unbelievable, that I didn't even know that he was having conversations with my kids about certain things. So, with that being said, I love that man. I love that man with all my heart. The other thing that I want to tell you is the last conversation that we had was about second chances. It's about second chances. It was about giving yourself some grace, giving yourself a pat on the back. You know, when you're trying to figure things out. That's the conversations I had with my dad. And with that being said, this is a tough one for us. We really felt like we was robbed. We really did. We upset. We're angry right now, but you know what? We got each other.
I'm Chrissy. I'm Thomas's oldest daughter. That's how I introduce myself at every family gathering, because everyone, and I mean everyone, knew my father. My father was kind, fun-loving, and he never met a stranger. And of course, he was oh so cool. You'd be mad if I didn't say that. I grew up here in Indy, but I couldn't wait to spend my summer and my winter breaks in Gary. Even when my dad lived other places like California or Michigan, I look forward to our time together. He loved his family and he was committed to restoring us, and I think y'all can see he did a good job of that. That was something at one point I had no interest in, but he didn't give up on me. He let God fight his battles, and as my uncle said, he got it right. You see, my father was an excellent grandfather to my son, and for the last 5 years, he lived here in Indy. This is the only time he and I ever lived in the same city. I have cherished watching him show up for my son's band concerts, cross-country meets, and birthdays, or just stopping by for no reason. It was my honor to be able to be there with him when he checked in for his kidney transplant, and to stand alongside my bonus mom when he was fighting for his life. My dad became more than just a dad to me. He was my friend. I'm really gonna miss you, Daddy. Thank you for being you. So long live Coop.
I honestly didn't plan on saying anything, but there's three things that just kind of came to mind that I know that my dad would want me to share. And the first one is my dad always took care of me. I remember when I first moved to college, he sent me a text because I was crying like a baby when they left, and he sent me a text, and it was from my grandpa, and he said, my dad told me this when I moved away, and he said, don't you be out there without stuff and not tell me. He said, don't you be out there and not have money and not let me know. And he said, this is what my dad told me. He said, if I got stuff, you might not always think like I got much, but I got enough. And that's the first thing he sent me when I moved into college. And he said, don't you be out there struggling and not tell me. The second thing is my dad always somehow kept up with everybody. I don't know how. He would randomly call me and be like, did you hear so-and-so you went to high school with bought a house? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I haven't talked to them in 3 years. How do you? And he just always he would send me random pictures of him seeing my friends at the mall. And I'm like, Dad, how do you even remember who these people are? And he always kept up with people. And the last thing, honestly, and this is the only thing, if I can be real with you, that has gotten me through this last week, is when my dad got sick. I had a really hard time, and he called me and FaceTimed me, and I could tell that he was in a lot of pain and he was struggling, but he still smiled, and he told me, and he said this, and I'm never gonna forget it. He said, we don't sit around asking God why this happened to us. He said, God only gives his biggest battles to people who he knows can handle it. And he's sitting in a hospital bed, and he's telling me this, and he's sending me texts saying, when we fight, we win. And if I can be real, this has been a really hard week. And I didn't want to sing the songs. I didn't want to put pictures together. I didn't want to talk about memories of my dad because I wish he was here. But the only thing keeping me through is when we fight, we win. So I just want my dad to know I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. And I love you.
I want to introduce myself. My name is Pastor Darryn Scheske. I'm the senior pastor here at Heartland Church. I'm just so grateful that all of you have come, driven so far to be here. I know Tom was grateful. He was the most grateful man I've ever met. He was so filled with gratitude. He was a great man. He wasn't just a good man. He was a great man, a great husband. He was a great member of a church. He was a great leader. He was a great minister. He was a great friend. Carolyn, no husband has loved his wife more than this man loved you. He was so glowing in his praise, so effusive in his praise. He loved you. There's never been a family that's been more loved by a dad than you children, than the rest of you family. He unconditionally loved you. You could do no wrong in his eyes. He bragged on you constantly. He would tell stories. Did you hear what this one did? Did you hear about this magazine? Did you hear about this one in ministry? We're at Mark and Charmaine's wedding, and I'd only got to know him a little bit because Mark had been a worship leader at our church, and he came running over to me, and he says, Pastor, God spoke to me. You are my pastor. And I didn't know how to take that, but he was so sure. He must have said that 20 times in that moment that God had spoke to him. And I can tell you this, that I've never had that happen, and I've never had anyone who was as a devoted member of a church. That's Tom Little. And he would just say, every conversation, we just want you to know we love you, Pastor. Could you hear his voice saying that? We just want you to know we love you, Pastor. And he did. We led a group together. The last small group that my wife and I led, we led with Carolyn and Tom. And it was called Be the Bridge. And it was about doing something that Tom loved to do the most, was to bring people together. And he loved the book that we were reading, and he was such a good listener, and he would draw people out. And here was a Zoom call, 22 different people from all different backgrounds and different races. And Tom would start off by saying, we are going to have a great meeting tonight, and we're going to share our stories, and we're going to learn together, and we're all going to elevate, we're all going to grow, we're all going to become better, we're all going to build bridges together. In a time of great disconnection and misunderstanding and tension, Tom was a bridge builder. And he talked about we're all here to grow. And the primary reason for our gathering is that we're going to build better friendships with each other. We're going to build better and stronger relationships. And we're going to understand each other, and we're going to love the Lord more, and we're going to be a part of what God is doing in each other's lives. I say I love him because he's still alive in the presence of Jesus, and I'll see him again. And I love all of you, dear family. And I pray that you'll be strong, and I pray that you will live this incredible legacy. You'll make him proud. All of you leaders in this church that experienced Tom, carry on his legacy and be the bridge and build the bridge and be the kind of person that doesn't carry around those records of wrongs, but decides to live life in such a way to fulfill the prayer of Jesus that we would become one. And Tom lived that out. That is the foundation of our hope today.